On a recent episode of the Wayspotters podcast, my dad said this on purpose.
I look at what Chris was showing and I look at this, my eyes light up. I'm like, I'm going to trigger a dang gym or something. This is amazing. I'm salivating. I'm hyperventilating. I'm overheating. Somewhere in the world right now, a nomination is being submitted. A review is being decided. And the map? Well, the map is being changed. Hello, agents, trainers, pilots, and our beloved explorers and wayfinders. Welcome to episode number 227 of the Wayspotters podcast. Here at Wayspotters, we want to do everything we can to help you become a better wayfinder. As we've always said, we want to educate, entertain, and excite. Wayspotters is brought to you by the good people at the Pokemon Professor Network, and today is Wednesday, May the 20th, 2026. I am Jamal, and I'm here with, no Chris today. Chris had an emergency, so we are joined by our very capable fill-in guest. I think he's hosted the show the third most between Chris and Lachlan, is Agent X, Ambassador Agent X. How you doing, man?
I'm doing okay. Glad I could fill in today for you.
Yeah, man, on short notice. I'm like, hey, Agent X, what are you doing in the next 30 minutes? Can you jump in? How are things in Idaho?
Things in Idaho are good. It's warming up. The sun's out, and we're getting ready for summer.
You guys never really had a winter, did you? You never got your
No.
big snowfall and all that.
No, not. I think we had a half inch of snow on the ground at one point in time, and it quickly melted.
Hopefully you don't get wildfires since you don't have like a bunch of snowpack to kind of cool everything down. So we'll hope that doesn't happen.
That is what we are afraid of. The water levels
Yeah.
out here in the west. The East Coast got pounded.
Yeah.
We got nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Agent X, we could talk about the weather all day, but this is a special show. So for those of you who are watching the video, you will see that we have three distinguished guests joining us today, and we're going to do their formal introduction here in just a second. So guys, wave for the people that are watching on video and YouTube. But Agent X, this is a great show for you to join because about 4.5 hours ago, as the time we record this show, Niantic literally changed everything. So they changed everything. So we've got a pretty beefy part of the news show today. So we're going to go right to the news.
And now, the latest Niantic spatial and Scopely news from the Wayspotters podcast, presented by the Pokemon Professor Network.
All right. Niantic surprised the Wayfarer community this week by officially announcing a brand new Wayfinder rating system. And this could end up being one of the biggest changes to reviewing that we've ever seen in years. According to the announcement, the new system is designed to better measure reviewer contribution quality, create tiered contribution limits, and reward stronger wayfinders with additional capabilities and opportunities inside the platform. Now, details are still pretty limited right now because they literally just dropped a few hours ago. But the community is already speculating that your Wayfinder rating may soon impact things like how many nominations you can submit, contribution limits, access to features, or potentially even review influence. And honestly, this feels like the next step in the larger Wayfarer roadmap Niantic announced for 25-26, which was smarter automated reviewing, improved map tools, web submissions, reviewer recognition systems, and more structured contributor progression. This is also really interesting because reviewer ratings have historically been one of the most mysterious parts of Wayfarer. A lot of longtime reviewers have talked for years about not fully understanding why their ratings changed or what specifically impacted them. So the big questions now become, will this system finally add some transparency? Will it reward quality reviewing? Or will it create even more pressure and gatekeeping inside the community? And knowing this community, we are definitely going to have some opinions on it. Back to you, Jamal.
Yes, we are definitely going to have some opinions on it, and we're going to get into it with our guests here in just a second. So, before we jump into topic number one, we are going to introduce our guests. So, let's introduce them. So, I'll take the first one, Agent X. So, our first guest goes by the scream name of Just Quit Now, or JQN. Joining us from the Pacific Northwest is a longtime explorer with old school Wayfarer roots going all the way back to the early days of Ingress, the early Ingress era. You can call him JQN or you can call him James if we're being formal. He's someone who's had a passion for maps, discovery, and exploring the world around him. And apparently that obsession started early, because as a kid, he was literally making treasure maps out of paper grocery bags and burning holes in them for effect, which is kind of rock and roll. That's kind of metal. After stepping away from Wayfarer for a few years, he jumped back into the community in 2024, and we're excited to have him here tonight. So everybody, welcome JQN. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. All right, Agent X, take our next intro.
Up next, representing the upper Midwest, we've got Keller joining the show tonight. Keller really started diving deeper into Wayfarer this spring, but what immediately stood out to us is how perfectly his personality matches the spirit of exploration that Wayfarer is all about. He loves traveling, discovering hidden local gems, finding great food spots, unique shops, and experiencing the personality of the places he visits, which honestly sounds like someone who is destined to become a Wayfinder eventually. We're excited to hear his perspective tonight. Welcome to Wayspotters, Keller.
And finally, joining us from Central and Northern Virginia, we've got Winston. Winston started submitting Wayspots way back in late 2019 when Wayfarer first integrated with Pokemon Go. And as a rural player, he quickly saw Wayfarer not just as a game feature, but as a way to genuinely improve the experience for players in smaller communities, which is awesome. What I really love here is that exploration piece, using Wayfarer to feel more connected to the places around you and the places you want to travel to. That's the kind of mindset the entire platform was built around. Oh, and casually, he's been deeply involved in the grassroots Pokemon Go PvP scene for years, battling competitively since PvP launched. So yeah, this man understands the grind culture. Everybody, welcome Winston. All right, guys. So I appreciate you guys joining us. I appreciate you guys being part of the Patreon and the greater Wayfarer community. It means a lot. And when I asked you guys to join the show, I specifically wanted to pick out people who are in our Patreon who comment here and there, but are not the big main contributors, because I think what's important in the Wayfarer space right now is that we get the average person, the average player who does a little bit of nominations. Maybe they're kind of a power user sometimes, but the voices that aren't necessarily heard all the time on the forum, in the WDD, or even in our Patreon. So I kind of handpicked you guys. Chris and I kind of handpicked you guys because we wanted to hear from you. I think it's kind of cool, JQN, that you and Agent X are here, because you are probably two of the more respected Ingress players that are in our Discord. So I'm interested to hear how you guys see Recon going away and how that plays in here. But we wanted to talk, so let's do this. Let's go ahead and jump right into topic number one.
This is Elf from Space, and I spot topic number one.
So for topic number one, we wanted to talk about the state of Wayfarer. And I don't know if I could have picked a more perfect topic given the news that dropped today. And I didn't know about the news until everybody else did. But what I want to know from you guys is, so JQ, and I'm going to start with you, and we're going to kind of move from my right to my left. What I'd love to know from you is, what does the state of Wayfarer feel like to you? And you can kind of talk about what it felt like before today, and what do you think these changes are going to be like after today? And while you're doing that, I'm going to put up on the screen what my Wayfarer new thing looks like, and we can kind of talk about that. But JQN, kind of tell us about what you think the state of Wayfarer feels like right now.
You got some kids in the background, so you have to excuse that. Maybe filter some
You're
of it
good.
out.
I got kids over here too. Don't worry about it. We're part-time creators with a full-time passion, and that means being a dad. And if you're a dad, I already love you, brother. So go right ahead.
You got 3 of them running around.
Nice.
Well, Wayfarer, up until this morning, it was kind of like a friend that had moved away. You know, you were close, you stayed in good contact, and then we had the split with Ingress and the rest of the Niantic games. I kind of lost it a little bit, stayed in contact, and then especially once Recon went away, this was the only way to do that anymore. So I've plugged it out. I haven't done nearly as enough reviewing and stuff since then, but man, with those changes today, those are some solid improvements. Things that we've all been asking for years on the Wayfarer system. So that's exciting. It'll definitely stir up the community, I think, and get more involvement.
Nice. Have you looked at your level to see where you fall on the level? So the levels are novice, apprentice, explorer, expert, and champion. Have you gone into your Wayfarer to see where you are on the levels?
Yeah, that was the first thing I checked when I read that announcement. I didn't even finish reading the whole thing. I read that, and then afterwards saw that all the other changes down the bottom of the list. But yeah, with
Right.
some of the history and stuff in there, I ended up at a champion with 7,700 plus points.
Nice. Awesome.
What about you guys?
Winston. Oh, so yeah, I'm gonna go through you guys first, and then I'm gonna share my screen. So I want to kind of go through everybody first, and I'll share my screen. So Winston, I'll ask you the same question about the state of Wayfarer. Where do you feel it was before this announcement? And then, if you've had a chance to kind of digest it enough, where do you think, like what JQN talked about, where do you think it's going? But talk to us about where you feel the state of Wayfarer is right now.
Kind of similar to what he was saying. Like to me and the people, the people I interact with a lot in the PvP part of the game is always just kind of one of those background things you don't really think about much. Um, and then I know from my perspective, until I found like the podcast and you guys' community, finding information on how to navigate it was always really kind of challenging. And so it was always one of those things that I think myself and people I know don't really ever think of much until they need it. And so I think with just looking at the changes that were announced today, it should hopefully create more of a drive for people to want to interact with it to see how it could impact things more. Um,
Sure.
and it just kind of from the super casual perspective of not I review and submit stuff kind of in spurts. It's always been one of those kind of background things for me. Seeing how that change could possibly not gamify it, but give more incentive to people to want to contribute, I think could be a big positive.
I love that answer because we all know Agent X is an ambassador, and the ambassadors work behind the scenes with Niantic to make sure these features work before they launch them. So, but Niantic Wayfarer, aside from the forum, doesn't really have a good way to get your perspective. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You're not a power user like Agent X, like myself. You're more of a casual. You see something, you nominate it, it goes in the game, you spin it, you play with it, and then you do PvP. So Wayfarer is kind of more of a means to an end for you. So the cool thing is Niantic doesn't really have a way to get your feedback. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on, is I think what you have to say is valuable for them to hear. Especially with this change, because the biggest thing for a company is to hear from their users and how they're using the product, because if they make a change and no one likes it, then the change is going to fail. So
Right.
I think what you said is very valuable. And a little bit later on, I want to hear kind of how a PvP person sees Wayfarer people. Are we as crazy as everyone thinks we are? Because I think some PvP people are kind of crazy. Because when people say, you don't PvP, you've only done this amount of battles. And I'm like, how many reviews do you have? I've got 54,000. And they're like, ah. So I'm like, you see PvP, I see PvP like you see Wayfarer. So we're kind of like the Spider-Man pointing at each other. We all kind of have our thing that we do. So Let's go over to Keller. Keller, come off mute, and the same question to you: the state of Wayfarer prior to today, and if you have any thoughts on the changes they made. Oh, wait, before we do that, Winston, what is your level? Novice, apprentice, explorer, expert, or champion?
I had Explorer.
Did you have a chance to look?
Yeah.
You're Explorer. Okay, awesome.
635
Perfect.
points.
Awesome. All right, Keller, let's go to you. Same question. Talk to us about the state of Wayfarer, where you see it, and the same question.
Well, honestly, I just started this whole Wayfarer submission stuff this year. This mainly get into it, so I think it's really, I could see it as going a good way. To hopefully get more people out there and actually submitting more Wayfarer information so they know what's going on out there. Like, I just did one. There was one that I seen a nice plaque. I'm like, oh, I'm going to do that real quick. I did that. And I'm like, a lot of people don't realize that, you could go out there and do this. So hopefully this will actually help them with the new system here. The old system, it was rough at times. I think that's what really deterred a lot of people from actually submitting anything.
Sure. And how do you feel about the changes that Agent X just read off? What do you think about those? Being a new guy this year.
I think there's a lot to it. There's a lot of new things that came in through. Basically just talking about, how many submissions you can submit, which is good, especially for those people who need those areas, who need stops, gyms, anything they can get. That will help, I think, honestly. And like I go to these different places and, I look around at the community and see what I can help with and find. So this should help more people actually put more out there for them.
Well, speaking of that,
and what is?
go
ahead.
Speaking of that, Speaking of that, just kind of curious for each of you. Like Keller, why don't you start? And like, what size of town or area are you from? And what is kind of the state of the map in your area? Do you think it's adequate? Do you think it's underserviced?
It's pretty in the middle there because we have a downtown. The biggest city near me, honestly, is 150,000 people. So, I mean, we have a nice downtown that has a lot of stops and gyms, but there could be more. But then if you go outside of it, it's a little less. But we have parks that people can go to that do this. So, I mean, like, it's not that bad here.
That's good. Winston, how about you? I know you said in the intro you were pretty rural. How small of a area are you from?
Well, when I first started doing this, I was in a county where, like, the nearest grocery store was 45 minutes away. And it was all really wooded and everything. So, like, that's when that's what kind of sparked me to want to get into it. Now I live in a town called Fredericksburg, so I'm like equidistant between Richmond and DC. So it's fairly big. So it's much more playable now. The downtown area, like, you can't really find new places to get Pokestops and waypoints in because it's a really historic city. Every second building is on the National Register of Historic Places. Lots of things like that. So it's harder to find things now. And I live probably 20 minutes outside the city itself, so it's more suburbs. So we have lots of parks and things like that. So slowly trying to build all that stuff up to where it's more engaging for the people who play. And it's pretty densely populated. It's a bedroom community for DC. So a lot of people live here but don't really do stuff here outside of drive to work.
And JQN, I know where you live. You and I have actually interacted in real life, so for Ingress stuff. So yeah, but tell us about the state of Wayfarer where you are.
Our area is about 300,000 people in the surrounding towns. There's 3 main ones, and there's a whole bunch of little small ones all around. We happen to have one of the more prolific Wayfarers locally as well, Scrawny Meowth one.
Yeah.
He has tens of thousands of reviews and hundreds of submissions.
Friend of the show, Scrawny Meowth. He's been on the show before,
yes,
so
friend of the
just
show,
like all of you are now, you guys are all now friends of the show. He's a friend of the show.
catching up to him. Only like 90,000 reviews to go or something.
Yeah.
No competition, he wins. The area is pretty saturated due to a lot of his work. So a lot of the low-hanging fruit is already gone. So I do a lot of the newer stuff that pops up. There's constantly new additions going on, or some of the more Jamal style, throw it against the wall, see if it sticks approach. And sometimes things get through, and sometimes they don't. We've got several thousand portals locally. I was looking at them because I get the count from some of the IITC tools and stuff like that. But there's probably 4,000 to 5,000 way spots in the area, and he and I account for probably he accounts for more than half of them, and I account for several hundred of them. So it's had a big impact locally for the playability.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Do you guys think that Wayfarer? So Keller, I'm going to have you go last on this one because you're the newest. JQN, I'm going to have you go first because you've been around longer, even though you took a break. Do you think Wayfarer is healthier now than it was when you first started, when you came in 2019? Do you think Wayfarer is more healthier and a better place?
So when I first started, it was a 2-year turnaround time on my first submission. 2015, I submitted one, and I got my approval email in 2017. It was some crazy stuff. I didn't even know what you were doing then. Like, what did it work? Didn't matter. Tons of duplicates. So that's kind of where I started, and then coming back in with the official Wayfarer system and such, the state is better, speed-wise, health-wise. The responsiveness, I think, of it is a lot more user-friendly, but it's got its areas where I don't think it's as healthy, especially as an Ingress player. I mean, we sputtered and fell on our face on this side of the system, so we're frozen. Wayfarer, by that measure, is doing fantastic, and with some of the changes today and the ones that they kind of teased, it looked like they might get rid of some of those biggest complaints. I think even I had with when I started doing the pogo side of things just to get the extra 40, but it was always restricted because of the difference in the submission distance. So that's one of the big annoyances. But I mean, they're teasing that that's going to be something that they're going to incorporate is going away or improving. So I mean, it's trending in the right way and some big improvements. And one of the big things since the split is Wayfarer has been constantly improving. It hasn't been static. So it's good things for the future.
Nice. Winston, same question to you.
I would agree. Like, I remember when I first started, even in 2019, like, you would submit something and it would be months, if not a year, before you got something back. And the criteria was, I think, at that point, much vaguer, and your rejection reasons wouldn't almost never make sense if you didn't get something through. I remember getting a lot, like, I would submit things that to me were slam dunk things, like park entrance signs, things like that would get rejected just because, like, they didn't like the angle of the picture I took, or things like that. Like, there was just no real feedback loop or anything. So I think just between, the resource of Wayfarer itself has gotten so much better, and the amount of detail you can get back in is a lot better. And just, I mean, the turnaround time, like, just a few weeks ago, I went to the beach with my family for a vacation. The house we were renting had a free little library that wasn't in the game. So first day there, put it in. 2 days later, it was in the game.
Nice.
Like, it was, lightning quick turnaround, and that was awesome. So there's been a big improvement on that end, which I really appreciate.
Keller, same question.
So yeah, since I'm new to it, it's like kind of hard to say what was back then, but I see it. I say it's kind of easier, at least on my end. I can see, like, it's a little easier. I've seen new stops pop up more and more around the area, so I'm guessing it looks a lot easier for people to submit and deny. Like, I did put my work in as one, because where I work, it's basically we're a worldwide company that wants clean water, stuff like that. So it's very, environmental. We're environmental, so I put that in, and it got denied with no reason. So I asked, was trying to find out. So hopefully this will help out more with more denying and why, with more reviews on why it got denied. So.
Gotcha. All right, Agent X. I know you have to be careful on what you can say and what you can't say, but let's take off your ambassador hat. Let's do this. Take off your ambassador hat and just put on we just got Scott. We just got Scott from Idaho. What's the biggest misconception you think players still have about Wayfarer?
Depends on what players you're talking about. I think probably the biggest misconception is still that you can get banned for just submitting stuff. I think the people out there who are getting banned and getting the ban hammer, they're not doing good things. So they're cheating the system. Because very, very rarely are you going to the forum and somebody says, "Oh, I've been banned," and after Aaron sends them their DM with all their stuff, that's you never hear from them again, with the exception of a few that have, once they've explained it, there's always with anything there's false positives, but I think the general public being afraid to submit a stop or whatever it is, I think that's a misconception, is that they don't need to be afraid. I mean, I've submitted thousands and have yet to get, I'm not getting banned for anything. I'm not getting warning emails. It's because I've read the rules and understand how it goes.
Gotcha. Keller, as the newest Wayfarer amongst all of us, what's a misconception that you had that you think you've had answered? So from the time you came in, what's something you thought was the truth and you found out it wasn't the truth, or something that you might still think is the truth and it might not be?
I think it's more of where what can and cannot be actual stops. Me, I'm when I'm looking at stuff, I'm thinking, is this going to be beneficial? Is this going to actually be brought into the game? Because I'm afraid of mine getting, denied, and then it's really going to hurt me after that.
Gotcha. Well, let me ask you this before you answer the second part of the question. How versed in S2 sales are you as someone who just started this year? Do you have the overlays on your map? Do you know where the S2 cells are? All of that.
I do not know any of that. Honestly, I just started. When you guys sent me the information, I'm sitting there. I'm just looking like a deer in headlights, trying to figure out what I'm looking at first. Once I can sit down and actually look at it more and find out what I'm actually looking at, it'll be a lot more helpful on figuring out what I could do and what cannot do.
So you were just nominating things. So Agent X and I have kind of I don't want to say a disagreement, but Agent X is very much likes just a vanilla map. He doesn't want to see the cells when he's reviewing. He doesn't want to know anything. He just wants to know is where you put the pin, is that where that thing is, and everything else is and I'm bro, I need all the information. I want to see the grid. I'm doing charts, and I got a pen and some string, and I'm doing all this. Agent X likes to see the things the way you see it right now, where you're is point A where point A should be, vote up or down. And then when you're nominating, you're not looking at it as this might be in the game or this might be in an occupied S2 cell. You're saying this is a legitimate POI and I'm going to nominate it. Did I get that correct?
Yes. When I go through the nominations, when I'm sitting there looking at them, if I see something close to it too, I start thinking that what if it's that same one that they're nominating and I'm not seeing it somehow. And I'm like, I click on it and
Gotcha.
see, make sure first, but I'm like, it's just, if they're too close, I don't think that it's actually, I'm like, I think it'll just create something wrong or something like that. That's why I'm very cautious about those.
Agent X, jump in here because I think you've got a different perspective than I do, and I think people want to hear it.
Well, this is cool because it's been a long time since I've been, the new guy on the block, and it's really kind of nice to hear, somebody's just trying to figure it out and figure out how things work, and I do feel for those every time that somebody gets on the forum and it's their first time there, and their question is, this was approved 3 days ago and it still isn't in Pokemon, and why is it not in Pokemon, and that nobody can really directly tell them why it's not in Pokemon, and everybody's like, hey, go to this site, download these tools, you'll figure it out. But it is one of those things. It does kind of suck if you're a new player, and I always tell people, it's like, you're a new player, go out where there's nothing and then submit to your heart's content, because you're not going to have to worry about S2 cells or anything like that. Get a couple under your belt, make yourself feel good that you did something. But yeah, because it does, you think about it and you're like, oh, it's like I'm 100 feet away from that other Pokestop. It should be good. But just by the way the cells lay on the map, really kind of can throw a wrench into your plans.
Sure can. Winston, same question to you. Talk about a misconception that either you've had, you might still have, or something that you believe to be true or others have believed to be true. So talk about that, and then talk about how you review and nominate, whether you use the cells or not. But
I don't know that it was ever a misconception. I think the thing that kind of like what Keller said, the barrier to entry felt so high when I was first getting started, that not understanding the behind the scenes part of how cells and everything work. Because I remember being frustrated about submitting valid way spots. They were, different playground equipment, things like that, that would have made good ones, but they were never getting through. So I finally found another friend of mine who gave me the Reddit link that had the original way to download II2C and get the overlays and everything. So I think once that barrier breaks down, it really opens up the whole world to you. So, and much like what Keller was saying, I always want to make sure that what I'm going to submit is valid, because not that I'm worried that I'm going to duplicate work or anything like that. I just want to make sure that it's something that's A, interesting, but also B, adds value to the games.
right.
It's great to have a random Pokestop in the middle of nowhere, but how often is that going to be used?
Right.
So I try to get the bang for my buck as far as using the maps to kind of, especially now I know how the S2 cells and everything work, to try to get, off the top of my head, forget the number you need in an area to get a gym and things like that. Try to plan those out.
2, 6, and 20.
Yeah. So,
I might have that tattooed on my arm. So
yeah. So try to keep that stuff in mind when I'm planning out what I'm going to submit, especially if I find one of those rural parks that hasn't really been touched before.
right.
So I try to keep that in mind
Team
when I'm
Jamal.
planning,
Yeah. So Team Jamal is I only nominate when I know it's in an open cell and it's going to appear in Pokemon Go. And Team Chris is, if it's a valid point of interest, I'm going to nominate it regardless of if it's going to show up in the game. Where do you fall on that?
Selfishly, Team Jamal. But I do.
And if you've listened to the show, I said I'm selfish.
Yeah, I think for as much as I want to think that I'm magnanimous, I do want to improve my game experience.
Yeah.
First and foremost.
Yeah.
But that being said, I know what the criteria is, and if it's valid, I'm gonna, because I know like there's other things that go into creating the map on the back end. So it may not
Right.
affect my game, but it could affect a future game. Ingress, back when Harry Potter was a thing, there was a lot more POIs that were in that.
Monster Hunter now.
Yeah, and so
Still
there's
got that.
definitely beyond just Pokemon Go. There's POIs that will get used other ways. So I'm not shy about if there's other stuff in the cell already. If it's valid, I'm gonna nominate it.
Now, with
Gotcha.
the changes that happened today, and as you level up, that you're going to get more nominations, are you just going to start throwing everything on the map? If you see it, is it getting nominated?
If it's not
Now that you don't have to
already
worry
there,
about only having 40.
yeah. If it's not already on there, I will definitely not hesitate as much.
Agent X, you're making me think. I haven't made my decision yet. I'll probably do it for content, but I won't feel good about it. I'll say that. Is that better?
What are you
JQ, and
gonna-
let's go to you. Saint,
What are you going to
What's
do
that?
with all those nominations, Jamal? What are you going to do with them all?
if you listen to the past couple of shows, I used 35 in one day. So I there's places in Charlotte that I haven't put my fingers on. So I can go and trick out an area real quick. So I drove by that place that we showed on the last episode, and there's 3 new gyms in a place where there was 0 gyms before. Now there's 3 new gyms there. So, and I nominate through the website, so nobody knows it was me. It's just your Uncle Jamal. I'm the Pokestop fairy. They're there, so no one knows, except for the people that listen to the podcast and the people who live in Charlotte. I told them, hey, I'm going to go do this, but a random person has no idea. They look at the name on, and I do that on purpose. I don't necessarily want the credit. I've got a podcast where I get all my credit, but when I nominate something, I only nominate through the website, and I only nominate it through Ingress, if you remember, so you will hardly ever see my name on anything. So, but JQN, I'm going to go to you. Same question about misconceptions, and then talk to us about how you review and how you nominate.
I think the biggest misconception still is that an approved Wayspot is going to be in game. It's each game has that different criteria, whether it's Ingress, Pokemon, Pikmin, or Monster Hunter. Now all of them, they all have different criteria, and so just because you submit something and it gets approved and you're like, all right, you could be stuck, and then you get the frustration. It's just a misconception that A equals B, and it doesn't in this case. And I think you would have a lot less disgruntled people, maybe a little less of turnoff for the new people if that was more well understood. As far as how I nominate, I've kind of had to scrounge around and find stuff. I was mostly playing in Ingress, so I wasn't so worried about the S2 cells. I did the research, learned about them, and understood how it works. But it was the distance between them. Give me my 15 meters radius, and I'd pack them in. And sometimes I was like, oh, there's no way that one's going to be covered up by the other. And I've had a couple that are 15.2 away. It was unintentional. I didn't think it was going to make it in, and then sure enough, both of them show up. So
Nice. That's awesome. All right. I'm going to turn over to Agent X in a second here, but I want to ask you 2 questions in one, and JQ and Central with you. We'll go to you and then Winston, then Keller. I want to know what motivates you to keep doing Wayfarer. And then let's pretend that Aaron and Tintino and Oren and LC and everybody over there is listening. I want you to tell us what is one thing Wayfarer is doing right. I worked in the corporate world for a long time, and we'd have to do those exercises: start, stop, and continue. And it drove me crazy, but it's like drilled into my brain. So one thing you should start, one thing you should stop, and one thing you should continue. So we'll skip all that corporate mumbo jumbo. We just want to go with one thing they're doing right. So what's one thing they're doing right that you want them to continue? But first, tell us what currently motivates you to keep doing Wayfarer.
Well, it was going after the stats, going after the badges, trying to get those points. Those come and go, they pause, but putting out the new stuff, trying to get it on the map has been pretty cool. My wife thinks I'm a nerd. Probably most of our significant others feel the same for the amount of time we spend taking pictures and writing about them and voting on them. But it's fun. It doesn't cost anything. I can do it after the kids are in bed. We drive around a lot. We travel. So I take pictures and try to get stuff there. I mean, just make the time count. I don't usually go on just dedicated runs for finding spots, but things you come across while you're there, like, oh, that'd make a good waste spot. That'd make a good portal or whatever. And throw it on there. The park just down the road, it's got a couple of walking loops, and I took advantage of the S2 cell placement to throw those in the most advantageous section on the loop. And we got a second gym in the neighborhood. And from the stats I've been getting the emails, people are using them. So you're doing something right.
Nice. And then what's
the best
one thing
feeling
you
to get a? I think it is a wonderful feeling when you get presents, when you get gifts in Pokemon Go from your way spot and somebody else sent it to you.
Yeah, I love that. JQN, what's one thing you think Wayfarer's doing right they should continue to do?
I'd say the change, as one of the visitors you saw there, the changes that you got going on. It's not static. Things are, even if it's not necessarily the change we wanted, it's changed. Nothing's worse than seeing something that could have improvements, could have progress, and it's just hanging steady. That's kind of frustrating for a lot of people, but having change, having hope for the future.
Nice.
Those definitely something that they're doing right.
Nice. For those of you watching on video, JQN had his kid pop in, and then mine popped in too. So very much on dad time. I love it. Winston, let's go to you. So tell us, what is one thing that currently motivates you to keep doing Wayfarer, and what's one thing that they're doing right?
I think one of the things that keeps me motivated is much like what you just said. It helps me feel more connected to the places I'm going. Whether it's exploring a new park, like we go out to the western part of the state where it's pretty spread out, and you'll see a park pop up that has nothing. And it's very rewarding to go in there and try to figure out how to make it where you're gonna enjoy, it's gonna enhance your visit the next time. And moving to a new area a couple years ago that only had a few spattering pokestops here and there. Now I'm going through the neighborhood signs are now getting approved. That was taboo for a while, and now I don't know. I know where you live, Jamal and Charlotte. It's a big thing to have those big fancy neighborhood signs. My in-laws live down in that area, so we don't have it to that extent here, but we have some. So I get to go through and I'm building up my whole neighborhood because we have a smaller one at every entrance, and there's 2 entrances for each section. So that's 2 right there that you can get slam dunk. So I think that's it helps me feel more connected to where I'm at and get to know the area better. You go and you are paying more attention to the different mom and pop shops or small businesses that are interesting that you may not impact them directly, but you might draw someone else in who goes there because of the Pokestop, and then oh, this place is like a fun little coffee shop. Let me go check it out. So that kind of hidden impact, I feel, is very beneficial. And I think for me, the thing I think they're doing really well is, like JQ had mentioned, getting the emails that tell you how you're impacting the game. I remember getting the first one, I was shocked. My most recent one, I think I shared it in the Discord a few weeks ago. My wave spots have had almost 40,000 visitors in a month.
Crazy.
Which is I never think that the community's that big. So it's just cool to know that that many people around are benefiting from something that I did just because I thought it was a fun thing to do. So I think that part really helps motivate you too. Seeing how many more you get the next time is always pretty cool.
Yep. Keller, same question to you. Same questions, I should say.
Yeah, like what motivates me is just getting out there and trying to help other people get more Pokestops or a gym in their area. Like when I walk around parks, walk around my downtown area, I look for stuff like that. Say, oh, that's a might make a nice stop or a gym here. I'm gonna submit it and see what I can do. Or else I started streaming too, my Pokemon Go adventures. So I have submitted at least one or two, stops on stream, just kind of showing, and one actually got approved like a few days later, which I was really honestly surprised.
That's cool.
But yeah,
That's cool.
It did. It's just more of like, basically just knowing that people are going to use this in this area. Just being able to submit stuff for people. That's basically what helps me motivate myself and like to get out there and actually look for spots around the area.
And then what's one thing that you think Wayfarer's doing right? What should they continue doing?
I think they should keep improving. There's probably more things that they can do. I cannot be the one who says what they can do better, because honestly, like I said, I'm just starting that off here. So I'm like, there's probably more improvements here, which they're doing right. Like this new update will help more people get out there and actually submit more what they can do.
Awesome. All right, so we're going to kick it over to Agent X. Go ahead.
Okay. All right, how about some lightning round questions? So why don't we everybody turn their mics on so we can go through this pretty quick. So quick answers. Let's start with Keller. What one rejection reason would you like to remove forever?
Honestly, I don't know. That one's hard because I just started this thing.
How many reviews have you done?
Not many.
Not many.
Okay. Yeah, probably less than 100 right now.
All right. Well, let's skip to what you'll get one sooner or later. You'll get to one.
Yeah.
Winston, what about you?
I think, and I know it's probably dumb because nature is temporary, but the natural features. Because sometimes I think some people use that as a catch-all for things. Like I've submitted like fountains and benches, and people have used natural feature as the rejection reason. So I don't know if people just use that when they don't think anything else fits.
Well, we all know benches grow out of the ground.
Right.
It's at the bench farm out in the...
They're made of rocks. I guess that's why. I don't know. But sometimes cool things in nature would make a good one. Like, I don't live too far away from Natural Bridge, which is a big thing in Virginia where it's a bridge that's made of rock that the river cut through. So it's not going anywhere. It's been there for thousands and thousands of years, but it's going to get rejected. But you can get the history sign next to it. So maybe something that more permanent natural features could get in if you got rid of that one.
JQN, what do you want to remove?
Body parts. Nothing worse than having the finger on the corner of the picture.
Yeah.
And losing a submission for that. I mean, if you got someone's whole hand or face or something, obviously, but having that finger on the edge that blurs a picture is annoying.
I had one of those the other night. I was like, all right, it's gone. All right, Winston, let's go back to you. Best point of interest category. What do you think is like top tier? Like something when you're driving down, you see that POI and you go, oh, I'm stopping. I'm getting that. What kind is that?
I think the easy go-to for me is now like the shopping center things. It's easy to get a good picture of without people. You don't have to worry too much about people getting in the way. And they're nice and quick. You don't really have to like find a reason to put it in. So it's just a quick and easy one that you're going to get.
Okay, JQN, what about you? What's your top tier category?
I think parks, maybe with a subcategory of arboretums. Those are honeypot of POIs that usually have a lot of openings. People either don't have the patience to submit them all, or they've added things and they're constantly doing that. So parks and then going from there.
Oh yeah. Keller, what about you? What's your favorite thing to submit right now? The few things you have submitted.
I like to go for like sculptures or like the statues that have some cool looking, shapes and sizes basically of it. Just the normality of what could be coming out of the statue or sculpture. We have many around here, so.
Okay, JQN, how about the worst? Like when you're reviewing and you come across something that keeps getting nominated, what's the worst category in your opinion?
Now you changed my answer. So my overall worst, and this was kind of a not going to be a popular one, would be places of worship. Like you're there for a reason when you're there, and if you're going there to spin a stop or hack a portal, you're probably there for the wrong reason. But that'd be probably my overall worst category. But to answer your question, I think it's anything that's like a franchise. Seeing that McDonald's sign or seeing the Wendy's sign, now you're going down all these things that, like, that's clearly not even unique in any way. That would be my one for that.
All right, Keller, what about you?
You would clear out the entire southeastern part of the United States because
if
you guys have heard, if you've heard, you can't trip over anything. You can't walk down any street in Charlotte, North Carolina, without seeing a Baptist church, a Presbyterian church, a Methodist church, and occasionally a Catholic church, and then a Mormon temple. Like, if you took all that out, the map would just look like a ghost town if you took out all the places of worship.
Yeah, especially in the
I don't
rural
think,
areas.
Yeah, that's Chris and I have debated on whether or not we want to make that a topic because it's a little controversial, like you said. But if you're talking about truly why you're there, does it fit? It kind of goes along with my argument for playgrounds. Like, if we're doing K-12, if you can't do a K-12, but then you do a playground, who's playing on that playground? It's K-12 kids, and it's the younger end of K-12. Anyhow, I don't want to derail us, but I feel you. So continue.
Well, I do. I always tell people I've been to church more often than anybody that I know. So, without going inside though. So Keller, what about you? Worst POI category. What do you think?
I think retail stores. The only thing I think retail stores should be a POI is if they collab, like Target. Target had the collab. I mean, at Walmart, you can't be sitting there and nominating the store because you want a Pokestop at the store for you, in case you work there or whatever. But because we have one here that says, we have a Myers, and it says grocery store. That's all. And I'm like, I don't know how this got approved, but that's all it is, and it's a horrible picture. I'm like, I'm one of those picky people who see those and get mad. But yeah, I don't like it. I'm like, I don't like retail stores like that just being nominated because you just want it there.
There's plenty of people that are like that, though. Yeah. Okay, Winston, worst one.
I would agree with everything they said. I don't love when I do find like a church that's not in there, and I think to nominate it. I actually one time was taking a picture of one, and the pastor came out and was like, "What are you doing here?" So I think that, like, and again, you're not necessarily going there to play a game. So, I get why it would be hairy for some people. And then also the businesses, unless they've got the partnership. I have, like, the Lowe's down the road from me, someone put in and got accepted. Like, there's nothing unique about a Lowe's. That's, basically a 3D printed building that's just there, So, I mean, unless you're going to do it where all any kind of like how the power spots work, where it's just anything off of the map that's like a registered business or whatever populates. They're just not unique enough, I think, to drive people to it.
Okay, Jamal, you want to take the next couple?
Yeah, so let's do this. So in interest of time, I don't want to keep you guys too long. We'll do a couple and then we'll kind of move on. So what? And I think JQN. I think I know the answer for yours. For most overrated nomination, I think we know that. So here's what I'm gonna do. I want to do this here. What is one feature for Wayfarer that you would steal from any other game out there? Regardless of genre or whatever, what's one feature from that game that you would steal and put in Wayfarer?
I'm a fan of natural features. And when I go to see
Okay.
a waterfall, I want to see the waterfall. I don't care about the plaque that says there's a waterfall that way. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's from a map or from a game, but to me, that is one of the biggest maybe hypocrisies. I mean, that's too strong of a word. We'd rather have a sign that says waterfall ahead, zero point 0.5 kilometers with an arrow on a trail than we would have a picture of
Than the actual waterfall.
And I mean, it
Yeah.
could be waterfalls. It could be, the Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon's not eligible, but all the signs saying "Look that way." There's the Grand Canyon. Are I mean, it doesn't.
Watch out
I
for
don't
that
see
big hole.
It's true.
Winston, what's one feature you would steal from any other game out there and incorporate it into Wayfarer?
I don't know. His was pretty good. Kind of the point I made earlier with the natural feature rejection reason. I think if you and maybe they're working on doing this with the new thing that they announced today, but putting some sort of rewards into it. That was something I asked my PvP faction today. Like if they could add one thing, like for me to mention today, they said to make it where you get better rewards for summoning agreements, whether it's in-game rewards or coins or something, to make them want to go out of their way to learn how to use it.
Gotcha. And Keller, what about you? What's one feature you would steal from any other game out there and put it in?
That's a tough one. They both came up with good ones too. It's basically, rewarding people, better rewards out of it. Maybe make a hoodie or something out of it, come out of it. So I'm like, that'd be pretty cool to put like a hoodie on your character saying, you're a Wayspotter, how many Wayspots you've done, all these type of things for it. I'm like, that'd be one cool thing from, I'd steal from another game.
Thanks.
I like that idea.
All right. I like that idea too. Yes. All right. So we're going to do a very quick and brief topic number 2. So let's go to topic number 2.
I wonder what topic number 2 is going to be.
Okay. So for topic number 2, what I want to do, we're going to kind of go off the script that we had. And what I want to do first is I want Agent X and I want JQN. I want you guys to talk a minute about, so I'll give you a chance to think about this. I want you to talk a minute about what losing Recon meant to you as a Wayfarer, how that has affected what you do. JQN, I have an idea what you're going to say because you were very prolific when it came to Recon, and before that, you and Scrawny Meowth, what you guys did in the Northwest. But I want you guys to kind of talk about that. Keller, I want you to talk about being a new person and how what you think would help you grow more and help the game grow more. But Winston, I'm going to go to you first and put you on the spot. I am fascinated to know how hardcore PvP players see Wayfinders, because I think we are like on different ends of the spectrum. Like a PvP person doesn't necessarily need Wayfarer until they need items. They need balls so they can go catch the community daemon that might have the right IVs they need. It all kind of feeds into each other, but I'm fascinated to know what the PvP community thinks about Wayfarer. So I'm going to start with you, and then I'm going to go to Agent X and JQN, and then I'll finish up with Keller. So Winston, go ahead if you don't mind.
I think from speaking for myself and the people that I interact with the most, I think we all look at the more hardcore Wayspotters as kind of like the same level of crazy we are. It's just a different kind of obsession, right? Like without, and there's a lot of respect there because without the work that people do to build the game map, we wouldn't have a game to play. And so you get an interesting kind of cross intersectionality of, I know a lot of the PvP guys who also are in really rural communities, like they're going out there and they're really looking at every way they can manipulate the map to make their grind easier. So it's kind of like two sides of the same coin, kind of like you said. Like it's just we honed in on a different aspect of the game we kind of obsess over.
Gotcha. Awesome. Thank you for that answer. I appreciate the perspective. All right, Agent X, JQN.
Yes, sir.
You guys are Ingress people. JQN, what level in Ingress are you right now?
Right now, I am 11 on my second recurse.
Okay. I have recursed once, and I'm back to 14. Agent X, where are you on the level?
I've recursed once, went back to 16. I've been there for many a million AP, so I'm staying. I ain't changing again. I don't want to.
You're not gonna recurse again.
No, I'm not Pokemon Trainer Jay who does it every single time he gets there.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to stop talking. I want you two to kind of go back and forth and give us that Ingress kind of perspective.
So losing recon is kind of what you're asking, right? What we thought about that?
Yeah.
So when the split happened, I mean, that was kind of a short notice, right? We didn't have a lot of time to know, and we got the Sooner trademark that was out there.
Yeah.
Soon. It'll be here soon. And we were all taking guesses as to when it was going to come, and they beat my guess. I said it was going to be 2026. So they rolled that out and got the ball rolling. It wasn't the smoothest of starts. I mean, there was a lot of controversy on the level 16 only thing. Kind of left some people out that had experience, like Chris. But it got going, and there was progress, so there was hope. And then an abrupt end, and not having any inside information, maybe not knowing the full scope of it, having a group of cheaters on the other side of the world wipe out the entire system, that's crazy. Like, I don't know, maybe they manipulated the entire globe, but the fact that you can't do anything now Wayfarer related in Ingress is insane. And it take a lot of steam out of the sails. No way to put that otherwise.
Oh yeah, easily. I think I figured it out before they shut it down. I had 200. I still have 206 outstanding points of interest in voting or in queue on Ingress, and still just waiting. Every once in a while, I get an email in the morning. Somebody's looked at my photo and they've approved my photo, and I'm like, well, yay, but I need more stops. Like, especially in my area, like, kind of one of the reasons why I really started doing it is I really wanted the Explorer, the Onyx Explorer medal, which is 30,000 unique portals visited, and I do travel, but I don't get to travel a ton, and so I figured, well, I'm gonna have to make them all. So that's what I did, and I'm getting close. I'm less than 5,000 to go, but without being able to make any new ones, I'm going to have to do some traveling.
Right, bringing back the Seer badge, that brought a lot of awesomeness to it. Like, we'd all kind of given up on that, going from it being dead to, the possibility of getting another badge, higher level, and then again ripped out from underneath it. It was disheartening.
Well, JQN, let me ask you this, because I said on the last episode I kind of stopped playing Ingress, and that's not necessarily true. I went out and I was at the park the other day, and I noticed there was this humongous bath, this big blue field, and I'm like, oh no. It just kind of ticked me off. So I took out the anchor, just because I'm a little petty. If you guys don't know me, I'm a little petty. So the anchor was like at the park, and I'm like, oh no, they didn't. So I took it out. But given that you're a Wayfarer, has the loss of Recon, do you think that's hurting Ingress? And I want Agent X to to give me his perspective. But is it going to make the game stale to where there's no new portals, nothing new to explore, no new anchors, or does that make the game better?
I would say it doesn't in any way make the game better. You can still remove stuff. Excuse me, I got a cough that just won't go away. You can still remove stuff, so people can go and abusively or even legitimately move something that's being redone. I'm a fan of your idea of like they're taking down one business sign and the same business is staying there. Let them put up the new sign. Maybe it'll be in the same place, the same thing. But if you take it down the instant they take it off the wall, maybe they're putting it up the same day and like it's pointless. You can't fix that now. You're stuck.
Yeah.
Right.
There is only degradation going to happen as it stands now. And all this new stuff that's being submitted, I mean, maybe some people are organized enough to keep track of it and resubmit it in both platforms, but Ingress is being set back by the current state of things.
Agent X, what are your thoughts on that?
I definitely agree with that. I mean, just the map is stale. And, even when they did bring back voting for a short time and, a few things got on the map, I think maybe I had a dozen things approved before they shut it off, but, that's not enough.
I got 0.
At least I had a couple. So
I got 2 denies, and the rest was stuck in voting or queue.
Yeah, and I feel for that. I feel for people who didn't get anything. The last when they announced that they were going to shut it down, I was like begging people in one of our Telegrams chats, everybody just change your bonus location to Boise. I just want something. Give me something. And
awesome. Thank you for that. All right, Keller, we'll finish up with you. So tell me, kind of as the new guy, you've talked a lot about, and I'm kind of repeating a question from earlier, but given that you haven't been through some of the wars that we've been through, I remember back in the original OPR when you only had 7 a month, that was it. It wasn't 40, it wasn't 80. I had 7. So you really had to plan it out. That's kind of like, back in my days, I had to walk to school uphill and 10 feet of snow both ways. So I'm not asking you to kind of go back from that, but more of being a new guy. You talked about what keeps you motivated, but what do you want to see? Like, where do you want to see the game continue to move in order for you to keep adding to the map in your area?
The one thing I kind of want to see the game do is more transparency through all these Pokestops getting denied, or these nominations getting denied, I should say. Just the reasoning of it, and what we can and cannot submit more of. So, like, here we had a park that we all went to back in when the game started in 2016. We're all there and people were calling out all these Pokemon and stuff like that. But now they've actually eliminated half their stops. So they're not there anymore. They were closed off from certain times, especially on the weekends. So there was nothing talked about that and why. And then all of a sudden I go drive past there and I see nothing there anymore. And I don't know, there was no communication about it. So it was more communication, transparency, and why stuff was removed and everything. It's just more of like the whole thing of just making sure that they're communicating to everybody.
Gotcha. All right, well, thank you guys. Okay, thank you guys. We're going to go into... We're going to go into one of our... Okay. All right. We're good now. Sorry. We're going to go into one of the fan favorites. Well, let me ask you guys this. Do you guys like One's Gotta Go? We get like a lot of like really good fan mail saying that they like One's Gotta Go. Do you guys like One's Gotta Go? If you don't, it's okay.
Oh, yeah.
No,
all right.
Controversy.
All right. Yes. All right. So you guys get to be part of it. I'm going to play the jingle right now for One's Gotta Go.
One's gotta go. One gotta go. One gotta go, y'all. One gotta go. Wait, one gotta go. Yeah, this one gotta go. One's gotta go. One's gotta go. One's gotta go. One gotta go. 4 items to be on the list, but one gotta go.
One's got to go this week. So you guys know how this works. We're going to go from left to right, and we're going to see which one you're going to eliminate. So on the far left, we have the Waffle House. Next to that, we have Taco Bell. Then we have McDonald's, and then we have Wendy's. So the theme for this is places to go and eat, and I was very careful about how I chose these. Knowing that not everybody has a Waffle House, but I think everybody has the other three. So, JQN, I'm going to start with you, and then we'll go to, we'll kind of go along the line. So I'll start with you, then we'll go to Winston, then we'll go to Keller, and then we'll finish up with Agent X. He gets to play the role of Chris. But tell me, for you, JQN, what is the one that has to go?
This one wasn't too hard. We don't have a Waffle House. I Googled it. The closest one, 15 hours drive away. I've been there a few times when I've traveled. I've enjoyed it, but they got to go. There's no way I could drive 15 hours to go there with 3 kids in the car. Wendy's, Taco Bell, McDonald's, they all got memories as a younger guy, more budget conscious in my high school days, and shortly thereafter, Taco Bell, Wendy's, those dollar items, the 79-cent tacos, they got me to where I am as a grown man. And McDonald's, the fries and the nuggets for the kids, we couldn't lose that. So the only answer I can make from where I live now is Waffle House.
Nice. All right, let's go over to Winston. Tell me, which one for you has to go?
I think I would say McDonald's because it's the one I don't go to. So I know I live in the South. If I said Waffle House, I might not be able to go outside. But I think for me, it's easy to say McDonald's is the one that's going to go.
Nice. All right, Keller, for you, which one has to go?
Well, I'm going to have to agree with everybody else, Waffle House. Because I don't have one near me either. The closest ones are either St. Louis or Indianapolis. And so I like, Taco Bell when I eat it. It's not very often, but I'll eat that. McDonald's, I love their fries, so I can't stop them. And Wendy's, I love their sea salt and their Frosties. That's why I can't get rid of them either.
Gotcha. All right, Agent X, you get to play the role.
I have 3 Waffle Houses within 5 minutes of my house.
You're in the South, brother. Is Waffle Houses and Walmarts. They're everywhere.
Yep, those are the 2 things you can always count on.
That's right, Waffle House and Walmart. Agent X, you get the last word on this. What's got to go for you?
So, I've never been to a Waffle House. I don't have one near me. I would assume I would love the Waffle House because I love waffles. So I'm going to give that a pass, and I'm going to go with which one has to go. The other 3, I would have to say, oh man, McDonald's I have to keep because it's kind of my go-to. Chicken nuggets, I love myself a 10-piece chicken McNugget. It's probably going to have to be Wendy's. It's like I do like Wendy's food, but it's not one of those things that I crave. It's like every once in a while I get a hankering that I want a chalupa from Taco Bell or a Crunchwrap Supreme from Taco Bell. I like Wendy's food, but it's like one of the stores I go to, there's a Wendy's in the parking lot, and I drive by it every day, and I don't ever stop there for lunch. I'm like, gotcha. I could. But yeah, I'm going to have to say Wendy's because it's the one, just because I just don't think about it as often.
Gotcha. Now for me, I can't say Waffle House or there might be an angry mob at my door. Waffle House is an institution in the South. it's not just a restaurant. If you want to go and see like a good drunken fight at like 3 a.m. in the morning, go to a Waffle House, and usually the cook and the waitress are involved in it. Some people might think that's barbaric, but it's kind of like sport. I mean, Waffle House, for years that I lived in the South, I never went in a Waffle House during the day. I didn't even know they were open during the day. I'd only been in a Waffle House after leaving a bar or something or at a late night. So that's got to stay. Now, Wendy's has to stay for me also because I love Wendy's. Now, it's between Taco Bell and McDonald's. They both hurt my stomach something fierce. I can't eat at either place without having severe discomfort for the next 6 to 8 hours. But Taco Bell hurts my stomach less than McDonald's does, so McDonald's has got to go. Although my kids love McDonald's, my wife loves McDonald's, I can't eat it. It just, like, the minute I eat it, I immediately just feel my stomach just like in knots. So nothing against it. I like their fries. Let me say this. I can't eat McDonald's meat. I can eat their well, is it meat? That's a whole nother topic. I can't eat whatever they put in there that may or may not be meat, chicken or beef. I can't eat it. I'm not giving Taco Bell a pass and saying that's real meat either. I don't know. But for me, McDonald's has to go. So, with that, we're going to go ahead and take a short break. We're going to play the dad jokes, and then we'll be back on the other side with Wayspots of the week and Coal of the week. I know we're running long, so we'll get you guys back out to your Sunday, but we'll be back on the other side.
Hey guys, this is Pokey Daxie, and you're listening to the Wayspotters podcast.
This is Lizzie B. Darcy, and you're listening to the Wayspotters podcast.
Hi, this is Horse Leo, and you're listening to the Wayspotters podcast.
This is Darker Solstice, and you're listening to the most handsome men on Wayspotters podcast.
Season 5 of Dad Jokes. You guys keep encouraging him. This is why we can't have nice things.
I ordered a chicken and an egg online. I'll let you know. I got into an argument with the calculator. Things were just not adding up. Kyle Busch was known as Rowdy. He was known as Rowdy for a reason. And I'm sure if they allow racing in heaven, he's up there making somebody mad right now, winning everything. Rest in peace. I used to be addicted to soap, but I'm totally clean now. I went to a restaurant that said breakfast anytime. Anytime? Yep. I ordered French toast from the Renaissance. So this guy stopped me and said, "Hey, do you know the difference between a crocodile and an alligator?" I said, "Of course. One will see you now, and the other one will see you later." I used to be afraid of speed bumps, but I am slowly, and I do mean slowly, getting over it. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Wayspotters podcast, episode number 227. You've got Jamal, you've got special guest host Agent X, and we have our guests, JQN, Keller, and Winston. Gentlemen, thank you all. And again, Chris, we're thinking about you. Hopefully everything is going well for you. Chris, hopefully we'll be back next week. But we're going to jump right into Wayspot of the Week, number 1.
Here is a beautiful example of a Wayspot of the Week, which may or may not be a 2-story mural.
So Wayspot of the Week number 1 is a really cool. So it's not quite a 2-story mural, but Wayspot of the Week number 1. This one comes to us from. Let me look at the notes.
Sarah Manda.
This one comes to us from Sarah Manda. And this is when she was in Northern Ireland. And this is really cool. So what's really cool about this, and I'll read you the description and the title. So the title is Toucan Protect Over the Environment. And there's a pun in there. Kind of like you can protect the environment. Toucan protect the environment. So you guys know I am a sucker for something that's funny in a title or a description. The description on this one is just mural. But we know Sarah Manda nominates it, and then she goes back and she updates the description later. But what you're looking at, guys, it's probably a 2-story building, but it's a 1-story mural, and it goes from left to right, and it is like the brightest ocean blue you've ever seen of a sky. And then in front of it is lots of green vegetation painted on the mural, and then you actually have vegetation in front of the mural, which really kind of gives it a cool kind of 3D effect. But there's a toucan sitting right in the middle of the waste spot. And if you know Saramanda, you know she makes sure these angles are straight and crisp, and she gives me a hard time because mine are crooked. But this one is just beautiful. So you've got, like, think of all these tropical colors and think of a toucan, and then there he is just standing there looking at us. So anybody have any specific thoughts on this other than it's a really cool mural?
I am a little disappointed in her description. I mean,
we know she fixed it. We know she went back and fixed it.
Yeah, she probably did. But the one cool thing I do like is that it looks like, and whether she did this on purpose or it's just a nice accident, that yellow flowery thing on the ground, the way she's got it lined up with an actual plant that's growing, and so it looks like the flowers on top of the plant.
Knowing Saramanda, yeah, exactly. Knowing Saramanda, that was on purpose. She probably took 15 pictures before she decided on that one. JQ, and you're right. I'm sure she did that. Keller or Winston, any thoughts on this? Waste Spot of the Week #1?
I don't. I think it's just cool. It's a cool mural, I think. So, yeah, that's all I have for it.
Yeah, nothing beyond just jealous that we don't get more cool murals where I live.
Right.
You start a society.
All right. So we're going to go and Agent X is going to take this one. So we're going to go to Waste Spot of the Week #2.
This is Saramanda, and here's some Wayspotters approved points of interest.
Okay. Waste Spot of the Week #2 is from Yan NK. And another mural. This looks like, I will say this looks like a 3-story, 5-tiered mural. And what I mean by that is it looks like this mural's been painted on, it's got like 2 or 3 levels of wall, and then a building, and then the roof of the building. And it's 3D. It's really kind of cool. So it is called Sleepy Tabby Cat Mural. And it's a mural painted in... I'm not even going to try to pronounce that name.
It's from China.
Yeah. Huanganjin Village. So, yeah. It's Chinese, but it is gorgeous. But yeah, it looks... I bet that's a rice field there at the bottom. But yeah, rice field, wall, and then a mural on another wall, and then another wall, and then a cat. There's a sleeping cat with a little girl or a little boy taking care of the cat, and then the cat is under a tree, and the roof of the building is painted like a tree canopy, and so it looks the trunk of the tree is on the wall, and then the canopy is up in the roof line of the building. That is definitely a great looking mural.
Not only are there levels to this, but there's layers to this. The more you look at it, the more things you see. And I just noticed, like, off to the left, there's like painted on vegetation that looks like it could be like naturally growing on the wall. So it's really cool. So cool. Those are our 2 waste spots of the week. So we're going to go to something right now that is not cool. It's coal of the week.
I've been working on the Wayfarer all the live long day. I've been working on the Wayfarer just to pass the... Oh no. Hey Jamal, I found some coal.
Okay. So this week's coal of the week... all right. So this was specifically for Chris, because we all know Chris's catchphrase is, "It's not that far, get out of your car." So this was going to be specifically for Chris. And, all right, Winston, I want you to describe what this Cole of the Week is. I'm going to give you a shot at this.
Sure, let's see what I can do here.
And this one comes to us from Samurai 374, who we've never featured a Cole of the Week from. So Samurai 374, shout out to you. All right, take it away. I want you to try to describe to the people what they're looking at.
All right, it is a modern day torture chamber, also known as a dentist's office. The reviewer kind of did their best Yelp review with describing it as a good dentist office that takes really good care of you and your teeth. So, plus one for the description. But then they were nice enough to take pictures zoomed in from the front seat of their car. So not only do you get the dentist office sign, you also get a rear view mirror and a dashboard. So it really helps bring the whole thing together. Frames it really nicely.
Sarcasm. Now, Winston, they did the one thing that drives Chris up the wall, and I think Agent X is in this camp. The main picture and the supplemental picture are the same, which immediately raises a red flag. Whenever I see that, I look closer into it when the pictures are the same, because I'm like, what are you hiding, bro? What's going on here? Agent X, what are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. When I'm reviewing, if I come across and your main photo and your supporting photo are the same, I am digging deep into what your nomination is, and it better be good, because you've already lost any bonus points you have.
Right. Keller, I see you smiling. Talk to me.
I think he described it very well. Basically, it is true. I don't know why they didn't get out of their car and take this picture and actually put more detail into it. It would have been denied real quick for me, too.
I'm betting they're sitting at a stop sign and it's the passenger that took that picture. And they're like, oh, look, a dentist office. Let's nominate it.
No, I think it's the driver, because look at the angle of the rearview mirror. I think the passenger would have had a different angle. I think it's the driver. Well, first of all, let's just say this. The dentist office itself is not eligible. Let's just start there, right? So
nobody wants to go there.
Right. Even if the picture was great, the dentist office was going to get rejected, but you made it worse by taking it from the car. And you made it worse by getting the whole dashboard and half of the rearview mirror, and then you made it even worse by having the pictures the same. So I'm going to give JQN, I'm going to give you the last word on this. What do you think about this Cole of the Week?
I think it's time for a tech tip. Pinch and zoom. If you would roll the window down, zoom out the window, it could have been at least a submission that wouldn't have been Cole of the Week. Not accepted in this office, but... And sometimes I got the kids in the car with me. I can't get out of the car. But roll the window down, get in the right position, take a solid picture. Don't take it with the window and the mirror, the dashboard. And the rear view mirror is bigger than the sun. It is so
yes, it is.
Low effort. That's
yes, it is. Low effort. Yes. All right. Thank you. All right, thank you, gentlemen. Before we go, I want to give you a chance to, if you guys have anything to plug, if you're a streamer and you want to drop your streamer tag, and if you're on Twitch or Twitter or wherever you are, if you have something that you want to promote, I want to give you this time to let people know where they can find you. If you tweet a lot and you want to share your Twitter handle, you don't have to, but if you have something to promote, I'd love to give you this time to let people know where they can find you if that's your thing.
Sure, I'll go. I stream on Twitch when I can. I'm going to get more into it. So basically, if somebody wants to drop me a follow, Kellers_Pokemon, and basically that's where you can find me on most of social platforms too, TikToks.
Here's what I want you to do, Keller. In our chat, I want you to put your handle so I can make sure I spell it right, and I'll put it in our show notes. So when people see the show notes, they can click on a hyperlink and it'll go right to you. So drop this man a follow. drop them a follow. And, one hand washes the other. And like I say, a rising tide raises all boats. So if you support us, go support him and give him a follow. JQN or Winston, you guys have anything you want to share or promote?
All I got is that hope for one day to get that T-shirt store we keep talking about in the Discord.
Yes.
Well, he's got to click go on it one of these days. But until then, I know
that's right.
He's got my personal Instagram.
Winston, anything?
No, I don't really engage in any of that stuff.
All right.
I'm on the Discord. If you ever want to get some PvP advice or anything, I can see what I can do. And
might take you up on that.
Yeah, and as always, just keep supporting all the creators out there. There's lots of good people around, and the more we watch them, the better it gets.
So this might either horrify you or I don't know. I have 9 PvP mods. I have 3 for Great League, 3 for Ultra League, and 3 for Master League, and I've had those same 9 for like 4 years. How does that make you feel? Right.
Because I don't, I try to be as free to play as possible, so I don't really do a lot of raiding.
Yeah.
And
I'll drop you a DM with my PvP people, and you know what? I love it because I know my team is derpy. I'm not a tryhard in PvP. I know my team is derpy, and I love it when someone comes with like fusion shock, and they've got all the thing, and it's all maxed out, and then I beat them with my derpy team, and then I'm like, yeah. All right, everybody, we've kept you. Yes, I love derpy. All right, guys, thank you guys for joining us. That's going to do it for this episode of the Wayspotters. Now, I can't end an episode without giving some love to the people who make the show possible. So first up is our incredible executive producer, Kate the Cons. You rock. A huge thank you to you and all of our amazing patrons. We love you, and of course, we couldn't do this without you. And we have to give a special shout out to our show historian, Maddie G, who's been keeping the record straight since day one. Special shout out to Maddie G, who's doing 2 graduations this week. His daughters are doing big things in the world, so safe travels out there, Maddie. We'd also like to thank our gym leader patrons, Maddie G, Espion Willow, KJ the Man, Herbert, Brandy, PJ, Fisher JZE, and James. Fisher JZE, we got to see your face on the Zoom call. More about the Zoom call in a minute. We want to give a shout out to the other executive producers on the network. For Good Morning Johto, we have Monkey Bread. For Lured Up, we have Xander. And for Special Conditions, we have Tish Smith. And of course, our favorite executive producer is Kate the Cons. Special shout out to our Elite Four patron, Ozark Renee. Renee, you rock. You're cool. And a super, super special shout out to Boris Yeah for being our Giovanni level supporter. I hope you like your graphic that we made for you. Now, if you guys like what you heard, there's a couple of different ways you can stay connected with us. Number one, we're on social. You can follow us on Twitter at Wayspotters. You can follow us on Instagram at Wayspotters Podcast and on TikTok at I Make Wayspots. We love interacting with you, so don't be shy. Come say hi. Number two, check out our website, www.wayspotters.com. From there, you can download episodes, send us a message, or even shoot us an email, wayspotters@pokemonprofessor.com. Number three, we've got a hotline. That's right, you can call us, 704-426-3710. Leave us a voicemail, and you might hear yourself on a future episode of the show. Or if you're feeling brave, you can tweet us a voice message directly from Twitter. Now, some of you may be watching us on YouTube, and for those of you who are not, you can visit our YouTube page, www.youtube.com/@Wayspotters And Chris always says something cool here, and I don't remember what he says, but smash that like button, subscribe, all the stuff. If you guys are watching this, you know the stuff to do on the YouTube. I've always wanted to say smash that like button. Anyhow, number four. If you want to support the show, the best way to do it is by joining the Pokemon Professor Network Patreon. For as little as $1 US a month, you'll unlock access to the Discord where you can hang out with all the fans and all the creators from all the shows across the entire network, including Special Conditions, Gotta Watch 'Em All, Purified Podcast, Good Morning Johto, Sleep It Off, After Dark Cry, and of course your favorite, Wayspotters. It's a fantastic community and we'd love to have you there. Finally, the simplest way to help us grow is to give us a rating on the app that you are listening to or watching right now. 5 stars really helps the show, and if your podcatcher lets you leave a review, do it. One of us will read it right here on the show. And that's all we've got for this week. Thanks for watching and listening and being the best part of the Wayspotters family. And a special shout out to our guests and our special guest host, Agent X, for the short notice. We really appreciate everybody. And guys, remember, what's a few meters between friends?
And get out of your car.
Yes, and get out of your car.